So, Missy, let's crack on. So, do we have any apologies for absence?
No, because we're all present and correct.
Do you have any declarations of interest? Is everybody happy with the meeting, minutes of the meeting held on the 19th of December, which feels like ages ago now?
Yeah.
All okay?
Yeah.
Heather, is there any chairman's report and urgent item?
No, neither vote, Chair.
It's the 9th today, isn't it?
No, anywhere you're ready.
That's right, okay. Public questions in accordance with standing orders 22 and 23,
No, none have been received, Chair.
and any letters of objection.
No, none have been received for those either.
So, we'll start off with application 5/2023-2418, which is 11 back in the please. Helen.
Right, okay, so. Okay, so currently on the plot, the detached 3-bedroom dormer bungalow flanked on both sides by 2-storey properties. Planning permission was granted in 2015 for the replacement 3-bedroom dwelling, which occupied a smaller oval footprint to this proposal, but did not include accommodation in the roof space and was stepped in and back to the side with number 11A back to those more than the proposal. This new proposal is for a 5-bedroom property with accommodation in the roof and on a larger footprint. The front building line sits marginally back from the existing bungalow with off-street parking for 2 cars and access to the integral garage on the frontage. The ground floor footprint extends rears by 2 metres beyond the rear building line of number 11A, and at first floor level falls broadly inward. The roof ridge line is the same as the approved proposal, which is the same height as number 10, but due to now providing accommodation, presents a more dominant roof form, especially from the side and when viewed from the rear. The elevations are stepped in at first floor level from the side of number 10, the rear building line to which finishes some distance before that of the new proposal. But there are 1 metre gaps along the boundary line on both sides to reduce the impact. The design and materials appear to be in keeping with the street scene and other properties in the vicinity. There were no pre-works and the property is not in the conservation area. And I said, consider no objections, subject to no amenity to the neighbouring properties, policy ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and 72 of the district plan reflects. I think you've got what I've got visible on the screen here in front of you.
Yeah.
So what they're proposing is definitely a larger proposal.
Yep.
But isn't really hugely out of keeping with the other eclectic mix of properties within the road.
So it's no higher,
It's no higher.
it's gone up into the roof.
So yeah, so what they've done, so you can see sort of coming from here is that they
Put a roof
the
on
old
loft.
or the approved scheme was set much further back. It was a much smaller element to the right.
Yeah,
So what they're doing is they're actually bringing that to be in line, and then to the rear, it does project. I think on this picture here, you can see that the roof form is much bulkier because they're going into the roof space.
It looks much nicer.
I mean, sort of kind of when you see the street scene that's there, there is no pattern.
No, it's good for that as well, I think.
Yeah. I mean, I suppose the only thing you could say is sort of like terracing. It has got a row of terraces next door to it.
Yes, it has, and it's still retaining a metre gap down the boundary on both sides. So there's a 2 metre gap between the walls.
Everybody happy with that?
Yeah.
No problem with that? No.
What about the parking?
There's also spaces.
So parking, they've got an integral garage,
Oh, right.
actually, and there is,
As well as.
yeah, so they've got an
Yeah.
integral garage as part of the scheme, and then there is, because of the bungalow here is built right up almost to the front building line,
Right.
there is space on the frontage because it is set further back.
But the integral garage is also behind one of the parking spaces.
But that's okay. Yeah, as long as you've got adequate parking
stick your
off
car.
site,
Mm.
also off street parking provision, then that's absolutely fine. Not everyone has to manoeuvre their vehicles independently of each other.
They never uses that garage for their car, do they? They just use it for.
Seen the same garage.
I wasn't gonna put it quite like that, but yeah. Okay, so we're happy with that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I do that.
Okay. So we'll move on to 5/20/23 2441, which is 8 Westfield Road. So,
Okay, the application is looking to demolish the detached garage to the side and extend along the side to two-storey level, retaining a 1 metre gap along the boundary to create a home office and an open plan living accommodation at ground floor, and enlarging the bedrooms at first floor. No additional bedrooms are being added. The extension will also project 1.5 metres forward partially across the frontage, with the addition of a canopy over the front door. Despite the plot sitting higher up due to the slope of the road, this projection does not appear to unduly affect number 10 Westfield Road. A mono-pitch roof is also to be added to the existing rear flat roof ground floor element. There is off-street parking for 3 cars on the frontage, not conservation area. Consider no objections subject to no other communities and neighbouring properties. Was the ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and 72 of the district plan repairs.
have other houses in the road done it?
Yeah.
All happy with that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
5/20/23 2238 doesn't meet the criteria, so we'll move on to 5/20/23 2365, which is 14 Kirkwick Avenue.
Okay, so this one actually, you will remember, quite recently, we considered this. So this application is a resubmission of the previously approved scheme, so 2023-1206. The new scheme includes a range of minor amendments, namely, so the roof to the glazed link building is replaced with an insulated wall roof. Previous proposal included a fully glazed roof, structural glazing, which is likely to overheat and will offer poor insulation compared to the solid roof. Proposed roof changes therefore being made in sustainability grounds. The rear elevation wall is also moved to marginally increase the room width. The pool room extension is wall is moved away from the boundary garden wall, thus reducing the overall length of the extension. The small lean to external store is added to the side. Elevation of the pool room to provide additional space for plant equipment and general garden storage. And to reduce the reliance on artificial lighting, an additional roof light has been added. Extension to the roof line. The roof line of the swimming pool building, the link extension and kitchen diner extension have been raised slightly by 350 mil. The additional height will help to provide an improved internal headroom, lessen the amount of excavation required and provide improved insulation. Green roof is to be removed. The appearance of the north-east elevation is improved by changing the fenestration so it matches the existing dwelling. A rear access door is added to the link extension. These amendments are relatively minor and will not change the overall design and scale of which was approved. The remainder of the scheme is as per the previously approved scheme. No objections subject to appropriate design and use of materials on this local listed building in the conservation area. Policy ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and policies 85 and 87 of the district plan repairs. I think ultimately.
Turn
Yeah.
this down in the
Past.
No.
No.
I really don't remember this. I remember it, but I can't remember what happened.
So we
liked it.
said, yes, and no objections subject to the previous refusal. So it was refused, not last time, but the time before that, but it was refused by St Albans as opposed to by us.
Because
So I didn't include the history for that one, but it's been given permission.
It's now been given permission and they just tweaked it a bit.
Yeah,
Yeah. Right, so
on the basis of those.
Why are they getting rid of the green roof?
according to me, Oh, that.
So that's the
Oh, that's the
approved.
approved one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's, yeah. So I think that they're just removing it probably, just, I don't know, they haven't actually.
Just from the
explained
kitchen
the
area
reason,
though,
yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
Oh, what's that building to the side of it?
Another house.
So yeah, this is, I don't know if you can remember, this is a slightly bizarre property in that it had what was like a linked sort of kind of coach house to the side. I'm not sure whether or not you can sort of kind of see
So
it.
that's not, you can see it on the aerial views.
Yeah, you can see it from the front. I mean, I can take you there, but it's a bizarre thing where it was a coach house that was attached at the side, which formed one property. It was then split, so it became 14A Coke Avenue. And I think it's still been retained as a split. Hence why it's whited out, because it's
It's not their
connected,
property.
but it doesn't, yeah, it's connected, but it's not actually this.
So do they own the land between?
It's in the
Yeah.
grounds.
Yes,
So they can drive, so this one that's before us can drive into that area.
yes,
Yes.
yeah.
And
So
that's
To the
their
right of it,
driveway.
yeah, as it drives in.
so sort of kind of, if I can show you, it is a very bizarre thing, I must admit. I don't know whether or not they had like family members or something. There's access off of the road that comes along here, and you can go under here, comes in. So these garages here are actually accessible along the
So they
side
make
there.
that a swimming?
But that, yeah, so the one's the swimming pool and one's the garage,
Oh, right.
but it's
Higgledy-piggledy, isn't it?
a very strange thing. But that isn't 14, that's 14A. So it's an independent property,
Yeah.
but it's been depicted because it's
And absolutely, it's attached to, and it's sort of semi-detached with that. Bridge over.
It's,
you can see sort of kind of from the pictures here that it's a very sort of strange.
Oh, I see, we're
Layout.
looking up towards the house there, aren't we?
Yes, so we're in the back garden.
Gosh.
Oh, right.
Yes.
There's the pale blue house is next door.
Yeah,
With
there's
there's
the
the,
linked element.
yeah, with the black roof and the reddy brown
Yeah.
bit.
So
And we're looking at the back of the. swimming
yes, we're in
pool
the
and
rear
garage.
garden view of the existing garage block.
Okay.
So it's
And then you
looking
go
up.
round the corner and up the
Yeah.
house.
Not that.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a lot of.
God, it's really higgledy-piggledy.
That's
Strange, yeah.
isn't it?
So they're trying to make it so that the garden works basically, aren't they, by getting the glass and you
Yeah.
have your walkway.
Is this
So-
bit here?
It's just totally like, listen.
Yeah, so you can see at the moment there's no interlinking section to the garage and the pool. And then in the proposal, they've got the glassed section, which is connecting.
And the other side of the 14A or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Is that 14A's car park?
No.
That's all that.
So everything that's in colour belongs to 14.
Mm.
The stuff that's whited out is 14A.
What about this little bit here?
Well, that's 14, that's 14, so.
It's 14.
So 14, so
The other side of the glass tunnel?
yeah, so that I think is like
14.
kind of, it's 14A's parking.
Right, okay.
But belongs to 14?
No, it's 14A's.
Okay.
Excuse me.
Oh, sorry, I thought that was 14's car parking. So I thought that area, which is that area there,
Yeah, no,
was 14A's, but you're saying it's four.
it's 14.
I thought it was 14. but
Yeah,
you're
I
saying
think it's 14A's, yeah.
Okay.
And that belongs to them,
Uh,
even though it's in colour.
Because they're tasteful.
So yeah, so if you look.
Yeah.
Yeah, they have, haven't they?
It sort of shows, so all of the red outline is 14A,
Yeah,
so 14, and the blue is 14A.
right.
So
And
it's
where
only
does the drive-through bit come in then?
up the side here,
And that drive-through bit is 14's.
yes.
Which one's 14?
No,
which one's
14 or
14?
So it's kind of, so it's, the driveway bit goes underneath 14A,
Yes.
but it is actually belongs to 14.
Okay, which
Yes,
is how,
yeah.
Yes.
so that's how they've managed to do that straight tunnel, which looks like it takes off some of 14As, but actually that's theirs.
Yes, got it. I'm happy. And no objections from 14A.
No,
It'd probably be nicer for them actually. I'm looking at the garages.
All happy with that?
Yeah.
yeah, it's a very strange scenario.
With their glass tunnel, they had to use that weird extra bit, weren't they?
Okay, so we'll move on to 5/20/23, 234, which is 34 High Street. Specsavers.
Yeah. Proposal is to remove the existing shop front fascia, vacant Halifax Building Society, and replace with a green background aluminium panel with acrylic text for Specsavers. A new green with white acrylic lettering externally illuminated projecting sign is also proposed to hang from the existing swing sign location. Minor changes are also proposed to the entrance door frame to enlarge the access, making the premises more user-friendly. Property is locally listed in the conservation area. So consider no objections subject to the appropriate design and use of materials on this locally listed building in the conservation area. Policy ESG of the neighbourhood plan and policies 85 and 87 of the district plan refers.
Doesn't seem to be that big a change really, does it?
No, just that we're quite strict on internally illuminated
Yes,
signage within the
Oh,
conservation
right.
area. And this is externally, so they've followed the correct.
And in terms of Wenzel's,
Yeah. How did they get away with that then?
And the barbers.
All I can assume is that planning enforcement would get on to them. If they, I mean, I can't say I've ever seen planning applications in for either of those two sites for signage.
Yeah,
okay.
I think I think it's something that we need to consider, because I just think in the last 6 months, the whole sort of like look of the High Street has significantly changed because of the signage and the lighting that's allowed in some
Yeah.
of the shops, which completely changes it. I mean, if you think about somewhere like Threads or the bookshop or Godfrey's,
Yeah,
they all sort of like had all their sort of like external features in keeping with the conservation area.
Yeah.
And
muted tones,
Yeah.
isn't it? Yeah.
but I haven't really noticed a change in the last 12 months with all of that.
Very much
It's like
North
a-
London feel.
Yeah. It's like in Cheltenham, I think it's Cheltenham, and probably not their place, McDonald's has had to change its entire
frontage.
frontage
be-
to
yeah.
be suited of the city.
I mean, it's,
Um,
if, I'm more than happy to draw attention to planning enforcement for specific shops if we feel that they have not done the right thing. So, I mean, if I'm thinking about it, I've never seen an application for Wenzel's.
Yeah, what would be the case for them to get through the Barbers, Wenzels and whoever else, and then
They would,
Specsavers Specsavers appear?
so,
Properly.
so Specsavers have gone about it correctly,
Right,
whereas probably Wenzel's and the barber shop
Just
haven't.
charged in there.
so I find that quite hard to judge.
Yeah.
If I'm honest, because not, I
Well, I have got-
could have drawn that on PowerPoint myself, so I find
I mean,
it,
I have got additional things that do show.
to see what it might
Yeah.
look like.
I think it would be nicer actually just to have it in the top part of that rather than having the third of that whole frontage, looking like Specsavers. I know they want to get their message out there, but everybody just know they're there because they've been to Specsavers and they can see it.
I think they're utilising the depth of the existing frontage, aren't they?
Well,
But
yeah,
the one
I mean,
that looks like
I'd rather it was green writing on a grey background rather than grey writing or silver writing on a green background.
But they will have their brand, won't they?
Yeah. So I have got additional, kind
Is it
of,
an actual mock-up or like,
yeah, so that's the mock-up of the swing sign.
yeah?
And there's already a
That's
swing
okay,
sign.
actually.
And there is already a swing sign in situ.
Yeah.
And then I have got more detailed information explaining this trough lighting, the sizing of it. Littleness, yes, of course.
So is the rest of it going to be really white then?
Or the grey?
So, yeah, so it's going to be the sash work to be sprayed grey.
Meters.
Okay.
So the only change is going to be the green.
It's 1.3 metres deep, that.
Oh, wow, that's huge. That is very big.
It looks to be as if that they're utilising the whole depth of that.
So it looks like
all.
it might be boarding from the top to the bottom
Yeah.
here as
Yeah.
well. I think it'd be much nicer if it just.
Just the top part.
The top section.
Keeping, it's been keeping with the.
Do we have to say then? Do we have to say about how shop fronts can do
Wasn't
that?
it said?
I did raise this with Carl when the Morrison sign went up.
Yeah.
About whether that had gone through any process, because I hadn't seen it here. And he said that it would go to St Albans. Any approval for that wouldn't be.
So in theory, if there's a planning application in for frontage, certainly in the town centre, we would
should have
consider
come
it,
to us
yeah.
first.
Yeah,
Okay.
we would,
But we haven't seen any of
No,
those.
no,
We
this
haven't
is the
seen
first
Wendell's, we
frontage.
haven't seen.
yeah,
It's the first one we've seen.
The only thing I can say or kind of suggest, I mean, I haven't admittedly driven past Morrison's at night to see what sort of illumination they actually have. So if it's nothing different than what was in situ for whatever they were called, Martins.
Yeah, I don't think it is illuminated, it's more the branding that I
Right,
think
okay.
wasn't in keeping. And also going back to my point, when it sits next to the bookshop.
Yeah,
And
Which is very-
obviously LK, the makeup shop,
Yeah.
they've sort of like done that quite sympathetically. So we could get to a point where if these are slipping through.
yeah,
People won't bother,
Yeah, I agree.
and the
Yeah.
whole sort of like look of the high street will change.
And I think it's different as well, isn't it? Because if we've had a high street brand like Phase 8, their design is naturally quite subtle anyway. Whereas other high street brands, Wenzels, Morrison's, Specsavers are quite in your face, bright, kind of full on to attract attention in a busy city centre. We're not a busy city centre, we're one road pretty much. So I think they're just applying what they normally do as like a, template, and I just don't think it fits. But I can't think of any brands that have tweaked. So WH Smith hasn't changed how it looks, has it? Because that WH Smith looks like that on every high street.
Yeah, it's been there a long
Yeah.
time.
It has been there a long time. I'm just trying to think about how they would
Yeah.
argue back.
Yeah,
You know.
I just think it's new ones coming in. I think once you establish that precedent, then I don't see how you can then go back on
I
it
agree totally.
and say, we don't like the Burger King sign. You know, because we've got Wenzels, we've got Specsavers.
Yeah, I agree.
yeah.
And I've just noticed that is happening more and more.
Yeah.
Okay.
But yeah, they're
It's
changing
changing
the
the feel of it.
precedents because they've not applied for the president.
Yes, that's right, where, well,
I've certainly not seen one for Wenzels because the best part of bright orange.
It's bright
is
orange,
yeah.
brown is not pleasant.
I mean, the size of what was Halifax there, the grey, is the same, is that the
Let me
same?
see.
No, they've gone up, haven't they? They've
Let
gone to
me
the top
let
of
me have a little
the
look to see
little,
what. I'm
the
going
little
to.
facade, the little.
Yeah, the full
Top
grey
to-
depth, yeah.
They've gone for the full grey deck.
But especially when you've got like the cutting room and Hamptons, which are really subtle.
Yeah.
A lot of the local businesses are just going to disappear in prominence.
Why can't they just have it on the top part and have the logo with their name? Why did they have to have the writing there? You know, that fits on the top part.
The lighting, they've got trough lighting that's going down.
So it's not the sign that's lit.
Is there
it's
anyone
just
here who
lighting.
sits on the Conservation Working Party? I just wondered if it came under that remit at all. Because obviously the conservation area is the high street in the West Ward. I don't know what you
Also,
consider.
So in terms of the Conservation Area Working Party, there are a group of volunteers who are going around, going through what is the conservation area and seeing what is there to conserve, to basically
Okay,
reevaluate the conservation area, because obviously there are some parts of the conservation
rather than
area.
react to things.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I feel a little bit uncomfortable in a sense that we say to people who want to do an extension on their house or use a certain material that they can't do it because of the conservation area. And we're trying to keep, let's avoid terracing, all this kind of stuff. And that this can just happen, it just feels wrong. and it feels double standards.
There's nothing subtle about it. It's literally boom.
Right, so I've actually got up
Oh,
the
the old
Halifax, so
contrast.
that's, yeah, so I've been able to kind of go back in time to see what the Halifax looked like.
Yeah, so it's actually not as big as this. They're taking that part at the bottom.
The
as
grey
well.
bit as well.
They've gone all the way down over sort of the,
I don't think they need to do that.
But green is also quite a different colour to blue. Obviously, I mean, I'm stating the obvious there.
Yeah, well, there's nothing wrong
There's-
about the green, is there?
I think what probably doesn't help is the fact that it's going to be in aluminium. There's nothing to say why it couldn't be a wooden shop frontage painted green with the Specsavers as a raised thing. I mean, that's what I've seen in the past. I mean, like Halifax to an extent has got like a raised branding. The logo
Yes,
is raised
yeah.
and sticks out.
I mean, they
But
could
if
do
you're not
something-
happy with it, then
I'm not doing this.
this is an opportunity for us to say no.
I'm not happy with it, but I also would like to sort of like try and get some sort of clarification on where we stand as a planning committee with this signage, because let's face it, there are loads of Jessup signs to rent property on the high street and going further down. And it would be good for us to know, wouldn't it, exactly what powers we have.
And can we raise it?
We're all quite
So here's an
uncomfortable
interesting
with
one.
it.
So this is Specsavers in Newport.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
Why can't they do something like this? In keeping.
They're probably looking to use existing sort of shop frontage for the quickest, easiest,
But
cheapest.
it's, I mean, that's their problem,
win.
really, not ours. Or even that,
Are they just,
paler green.
are they planning to just?
That might be another
that?
conservation area.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah,
That's very similar to Jojo Lemon.
yeah.
Yeah,
They've got the pale blue, so
So they've got lots of different ones that are.
Yeah.
bulk-
Did you just Google that?
I just searched for Specsavers shop fronts.
it'd be interesting to see what the landlord of that block has got on the contracts as well. I wonder if they've got something, because obviously it was bought by a syndicate, wasn't it?
They
well,
buy
that
or
will
renting.
be, that stretch of,
That block was bought by a syndicate,
right,
and I wonder if they've got anything about signage in their contracts.
So can we,
That one, Jane.
Yeah, that's much more pleasant.
Isn't it?
That's much more in keeping. And
Dark
it's-
grey with a subtle Specsavers.
Can you imagine, you put Wenzel's next to Morrison's and then you've got that
I know.
Specsavers sign, and don't start me on the Turkish barbers.
No, I know. I feel we should raise this as a broad, say no to this because of the signage. I mean, welcome them here with
Yeah.
open arms. But actually the signage needs to be more subtle, and they've got some great examples in Lincoln, shall we say, to them. I mean,
we
we should
also
probably
need-
check that Lincoln still looks like that, but I think we should raise the others as well, say where have these come from?
Yeah.
do we want to reject or do we want to express concern?
I'd reject it based on
I'd
the
reject
shop frontage.
Yeah.
But I'd say we welcome them, but can they just make the design more?
I was going to say the local plan, not the local plan, the neighbourhood plan.
yeah, it's
Nothing,
nothing
you don't think-
specifically about shop frontages and pages.
It
It just fits really under the ESD2, which is design and,
Keeping.
yeah,
So would that be
yeah.
the
If
basis
you
on
looked,
and nothing in conservation.
Mr.
You don't
Peter,
have
isn't
to-
that the guy who owns the jewelers next door? How does his
Who's that,
signage
sorry?
look?
Cope
I'm
stick.
just looking.
Coke sticks, yes, I mean, that's a very sort of simple.
Yeah.
I mean,
So-
he's using the wooden frontage.
It's
Well,
the
there
same
you
as
go.
the lease, the signage for the
Which
lease.
obviously must have been a requirement at some time that people did sort of try and keep it as.
But then sort of looking next
Character.
door, Bradford and Howley, okay, the colours obviously are slightly more muted, but we're into the realms again of a very similar.
Yeah, and also
It's
you've got
subtle, isn't
the
it?
pizza place just down the road as well, that equally offends, doesn't it, right by those standards?
Which one?
The Papa
There's a
John's.
Papa John's.
Oh,
Yeah.
Papa John's, yeah.
Yeah,
The
it's,
Papa John's is, that's been there for a long time.
Yeah.
It's not
Yeah.
as deep. This is the thing. I think the
No.
depth of it is
Yeah.
maybe is what is making it feel much less in keeping because of the depth of it.
yeah, and the actual brand itself hasn't gone massively huge.
Whereas the H&A, did that come before us? Because I can't remember that one, the coffee shop
Harrison
Harrison
Hall.
Yes.
Home.
Because that's
That was
actually,
Lloyd's.
That's quite nice.
that's actually in keeping, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that was, that's recent, that
Yeah,
was Lloyd's.
yeah.
And then they've got,
They've made that a lot better, that building.
and it's a horrible building. isn't
What
it?
does the Morrison's one look like at the moment?
I'm not sure that it.
Very
very
great.
unfortunately.
Well, it's Morrison / Costa.
Yeah.
And it's a big plastic sign and it's bigger and more
And Wenzel's went
intrusive than
into
Martin's.
Coppers.
Yeah, Wenzel's is where Copper's boots and shoes was.
Yeah, so that was
This
very,
doesn't- This isn't as up to date.
so that was a very,
This is how Morrison's looks. I know, because I took a picture.
yeah.
That looks like it's probably one of the most subtle ones that I can find. of
Yeah,
it.
and it's tough on the shops around it that have kept in keeping with.
Yeah,
church.
Yeah, well, that's what I think this is what I feel a bit mean about the
High Street.
Specsavers.
You know, we are this cute little village within town. And, you come in, you look and it looks nice, but it's looking more and more like a shabby.
Yeah.
Okay, so we want to.
So what you're saying is a campaign.
Yeah,
to
it's
change
too much,
it.
yes.
Well,
But to be honest, I'm not too bothered about the Specsavers sign at all. So
Okay, that's-
yeah.
I mean, I think it's useful to have seen the ones that are in other.
I think it's
locations,
raised
which are
an
much
issue
more-
for us, hasn't it?
Yeah.
Because some of these haven't come before us. And there is a bit of negativity about its impact on the high street. So from Specsavers' point of view, maybe not the worst one that's going to appear, but it's worth raising the questions.
I'm not even thinking that Albans are probably processing it the same way we're processing it. You know,
Well, I think it kind
it's
of.
filling this rental space, great, we're adding something to a
Well,
town.
they've got
Great.
horrible 1970s buildings.
Yeah.
Well, it's a very big city as well, isn't it? Yeah.
I mean, I personally prefer Greg's over Wenzel's. Even the signage looks better, but I think it's something that we do need to sort of look at because it is starting to make the place look horrible.
So do we, I mean, can we do it in conjunction with, raising with enforcement?
Yeah, so
The other,
enforcement,
because it seems unfair
yeah,
otherwise.
enforcement, I'll have to be very specific. I can't just have a general, oh, hot and slicky difficult. Be
Yeah,
quite specific and say, don't believe, or,
In keeping
are you
with.
able to advise me whether or not planning permission was granted for the change of shop signage for Wenzel's?
Yeah.
And
Morrison's and apartments.
yeah, so you're just looking here, the Martins one, I'm not sure they might not needed to have had planning permission for that.
Because they stayed on the border.
Because of, unless anything fundamentally different has changed, i.e. the type or the way in which it's illuminated from the existing, that might be why the planning permission wasn't required. Whereas Wenzel's was very different because Copper's Boots and Shoes was a wooden shop frontage with no illumination at all.
Yeah.
So Wenzel's, I believe, has got internally illuminated, isn't it? The actual text itself is illuminated as opposed to downlighters onto it. So that straight away is a no-no as far as we're concerned. But yeah, I'm more than happy to draw attention to specific shops.
Yeah, because I think we do because ultimately, if we just allow these things to happen and they're rubber stamped, then the precedent is established and that there will be no going back on that. I can't see how you can then suddenly say, oh, actually, we got this wrong 5 years ago, so now let's make everyone change their
Yeah.
signage. So I think we need to know where we stand in terms of preserving the character of the high street.
And these are all ones in the last year, so.
I'm not sure how it's getting through the conservation lens. If we're saying to people, you can't use certain materials for your properties yet.
You've got to
That's
stay in
fine.
keeping.
The difficulty is that St Albans can only say no if an application has been submitted. So if an application has not been submitted, they can't say no unless it's drawn to their attention with
Oh,
concerns.
okay.
So I'll draw
Let's draw it to their attention.
Please, certainly
And ask what's
these two.
how Wenzel's got through.
I think Wenzel's is probably the most concerning one,
And the barbers.
The brightest.
and Barbara's, I've written that down here as
Yeah.
well.
okay.
So, okay, so going back to this one, do we want
She's
to
got it in
recommend
loads now.
refusal?
Yeah, so are we going to reject
To be a bit older.
the,
Theoretically.
are we going to
We
reject?
should say we're very happy, we're very pleased that Specsavers want to rent in the town, but could they relook at the frontage so it's more in keeping with the conservation area?
Well, I mean, I think,
If that's allowable.
I think we would just say that it is in against the conservation area. Is that correct?
Yeah, did you, I mean, I can be quite specific. I mean, I think I sort of could sense that there was concern over the depth of it because it is far deeper than the existing frontage, and we're concerned, well, I suppose really that
Size of the
depth is
branding.
probably is what is most concerning, because if it wasn't as deep as that, automatically the wording on it would be a lot smaller and much more in keeping with everything else.
Can we refer to other
Yes, I was going to
Specsavers?
say, we note that in other locations, Specsavers has
We will
Has been more
sympathetic.
sympathetic.
Yeah.
They might come back and say, well, there's Wenzel's.
Well, yeah.
But Wenzel's can afford to change their sign. They
Yeah.
should have, they've gone and asked for permission, which is the proper thing to
Yeah.
do.
I don't think they've asked for planning permission necessarily.
Wenzel's.
Because, yeah, because if they had, we'd
Oh,
have
no,
looked
no,
at it.
no,
Specsavers.
Jane's talking about Specsavers, they've asked for.
Yes,
Wenzel's haven't asked for anything, they should come in and
Mm.
put it up the high street. I mean, it looks nice and clean, but it's still awful.
Bit orange.
Yeah, I love orange, but I don't like the Wenzel's orange and brown.
Morrison's one's the one that bothers me more. It's funny, isn't it?
I think raising awareness now and sorting it out would be useful.
Okay. Are we happy with that?
yep, yes, we're happy with recommend refusal.
Yes.
Yeah,
So we will move on to 5/20/23/2433, which is 34 Station Road, please. Helen.
okay. Planning permission was granted in 2023 for the change of use of part first floor from residential to seating area, single story side extension and retention of the existing condensed units and ducting. However, this did not include changes to the rear area which were detailed in the previous application, which was refused. See history above for the application 5220774. But the refusal mostly related to the change of use of residential to restaurant seating area and not in relation to the rear area changes. This application appears to have addressed the reasons for refusal by demonstrating the waste and recycling facility that has been created. This proposal does mean that the car parking space allocated for the premises has been lost. Property is locally listed in the conservation area, although the area in question has little amenity value. I would say consider no objection subject to process to unused materials on this locally listed building, the conservation area. Policy ESD 2 of the native plan and 85 and 87 of the district plan refers. Yeah, so the area in question is essentially the area where that black car is.
But isn't it also change of use upstairs?
No, they've already got
They've
that.
already done that.
Yeah, so the last application was approved, but had no mention whatsoever of anything at the back. The application before that was refused included the change of use as well as changes to this rear area and condensed units and everything. Whereas this one that's come back relates purely to this rear area and doesn't have any mention of anything else.
So it's not actually changing it from residential to.
No, so they've already
seating.
got a planning permission for that.
Oh,
Yep, so they've got planning permission already for that, which was under the last application. But that last application that did have permission had no reference whatsoever to this rear area.
right.
The application before the approved one did and was refused. but the reasons for refusal were actually related more to the concerns that they had about the loss of residential in the town than concerns over changing this rear area to.
So what we're seeing here in the history is the one before.
So we've got, so the history there is there for both.
Oh, right.
So yeah,
Oh,
so
it
there's,
is.
yeah, 27, so 2718, which was the one which
Oh,
was the
right.
change of use of residential, etc. And the condensed units did get permission.
Oh, right.
And the one before that was refused, included the change of use and also to this outdoor covered area at the back. But the reason why it was on that occasion related more to the change of use for the residential than the area at the back.
So why have they changed that from the residential? It's not like we've suddenly got loads of houses.
Whether what's the name? Oh, Paul,
Excuse me.
please, better.
Let's get the stretch forward.
So why did the council, do we know why the council changed their mind on the change of use?
Because of they adjusted it and it meant that the residential can't be retained as opposed to being lost completely.
Right.
Yeah.
But now they don't want to have parking space for the partially retained residential.
They've actually, so this application is for retention of it. They've already done it. So this application is for retention of the side and rear storage. So they've already done it without planning permission. Approved. So they've already done it.
So I'm confused. What they're applying for planning permission?
So they're applying for retention of the side and the rear storage.
Yeah.
And retractable awning and outdoor seating. So
So they're getting rid of it.
already done it. So this
So it's
is,
retrospective.
in a sense, yeah.
But my point is they want, I know they've already done it, but their point is to get rid of the car parking space.
Yeah, so the car parking space is already gone, because they've already done it.
Yeah. But they've retained the residential space upstairs
Partially, yeah.
partially,
And
but
that's
someone
under
can
the
still,
previous application.
I get that. but I guess going back to parking space allocation. If we were looking at this from the beginning.
Yeah.
Would we let them lose a parking space whilst maintaining residential space?
We didn't have any last time because of its class as being a, what's the word, a kind of, a sustainable location because it's in the town centre.
Right.
So it doesn't.
It's the location that drives it.
So there's, although in this picture that I've shown here, there is a car parked there, they don't need that because of, it's gone already.
Right.
But in terms of,
All right, so I'm just gonna get rid of all, I'm gonna extend my house. I don't need a parking space.
But then that's.
Well, if you're in the town centre, you can do it.
Yeah, I'm not far off, I'm less than a mile away.
Unless you're conservation.
Yeah, well, that's conservation.
thing is that it's business as well as it's.
It's good that they're expanding.
Don't dig in for you.
So you're happy with the signage?
I mean, like it is.
Well, I don't know, you can't just see the ZDS, or the DS on the
It's
left.
a little bit of an improvement on Jack's, although I love Jack's when it was there, if anybody can remember that.
I can.
Yeah,
So I think it is a little bit more.
I think it's nice they've kept it in,
You know,
with the colour above and then used the brick below to highlight. it.
Yeah.
It is.
We aren't looking at the signage there, it is, that's irrelevant.
complimented on it, yeah.
Just use.
I don't know what the sign looks like.
Example.
I've not noticed it change.
It's graffiti, is it
Gone, yeah.
I think
like
that's
gone.
the Thai restaurant that was on Ford Road now, is it?
I know that the guy
No,
who
graffiti.
used to be in
Oh.
between the two, yeah.
So I was supposed to have to be two pizza restaurants next to each other.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I
and
haven't clocked that.
I think the Thai restaurant that was on Ford Road might have gone into graffiti.
Has it?
Oh,
Yeah.
oh, right.
Okay, so will we have
so I'm
with
fine with
this?
that.
Yes,
Yes.
Like, yeah,
I've got to the bottom of understanding.
So
Are you all right? Are you
chopping
okay?
change.
Are you okay?
I am okay, yes.
You need someone else to say.
Choking and coughing
But
again.
it says I still feel we should leap forward.
I'm
Somehow,
over.
yeah, it's on now anyway, we haven't got many more to look at.
Let's get
Um, So we done that one. 5/20/23/2405 doesn't meet the criteria. Neither does 5/20/23/2444. So we'll move on to 5/20/23/2454, which is 26 Lakeshore. And if I spit out a Strepsil whilst speaking, I apologise.
Right, the property is situated in the middle of a line of four terraced properties, with the one to the right being an infill property which sits on a longer footprint. The proposal looks to provide accommodation in the roof space by adding a centrally located front door window and full width flat roof rear door window. This is to be used to relocate and enlarge a bedroom from the first floor and add another bathroom. Floor to ceiling windows are proposed in the rear dormer. However, properties to the rear are located a good distance away and are set on an angle. Therefore, there should be limited risk of overlooking. There is off-street parking on frontage. Consider no objection. It's actually got quite a long frontage.
They really have.
It's actually
It's
a.
fine.
Yeah. Long thin plies.
Yes. So randomly, the property to the right is an infill one, which is much. So it's over in Backford, just off of, I think it's off of Pickford Hill or.
Oh,
Hill,
that
one or the other, yeah. Oh,
Is
there you go.
the
Yeah.
line 26A?
Yeah, so 26A is an infill property.
So that was, yeah.
But it's got a much longer footprint. It's sort of bizarre.
Or they've just cut it. It's the curve of the road, isn't it, that makes it
Well,
longer?
no, I think
Oh, the house,
it
you
goes
mean?
back, yeah, the house.
Yeah,
goes-
yeah.
It just, yeah, the footprint of it
Yeah.
goes much further back. It's
Yeah, definitely.
quite
They've often
rare to
just split the
see
pot.
that they've agreed to have something like that, but
Yeah, fine.
are we happy with that?
I'm happy with that.
Yeah.
Okay.
We'll move on to 5/20/23/2451, which is 35 Tufnell Park.
This proposal looks to dramatically change the style and look of the property from a flat side roof property to a more conventional hip roof style property. Both neighbouring properties have undergone dramatic changes to be styled more conventionally and to be enlarged. Number 33 has increased in size and height dramatically from the original property. Number 37 more modestly, but still an increase. It's proposed to extend across the full width of the rear of the property rearwards by 1 metre at ground floor and by 4 metres at first floor level, mostly over the existing ground floor element. A partial width 1.5 metre extension to the front is also proposed. The main change comes with the increase in roof height to the side with number 33. However, due to this property being substantial, the impact is believed to be minimal, if at all. The overall look appears to be similar to number 37. The street ceiling the road is beginning to change to more conventional looking property. Therefore, the change will have no dramatic impact. The garage is lost, but 3 parking spaces are still retained on the frontage, not the conservation area. Consider no objection. Subject to no loss of meter to number 37 Tuffman's Way. Policy is due to as an open plan and sent to the district plan of affairs. Yeah, you can see here that the street scene is that kind of verified, essentially located line. And this is what they're looking to replace it with.
It's very high, the one next to it.
It is, yeah, it is, yeah.
That wasn't an issue. It's Tufnell's.
There's a slight gradient on that road, actually.
I think it looks like it is actually, yeah. So actually number 33, which is the larger house, would be even more dominant because it's higher up. Yeah.
But there's no windows or anything next on 33, so they really can't see anything, can they? 33.
You can sort of subtly see there the cat slide roof element drawn
Oh,
in,
Yeah,
and what they're looking to do, which looks very, very similar
Yeah.
to the one to the right.
yeah, it's nice.
Yes.
Yeah.
Give it that.
Mm.
Okay.
So we'll move to 5/20/23/2456, which is 11 Lord.
The proposal is to extend the ground floor across the width of the property with a flat roofed angled extension to the rear to create open plan living accommodation and a first floor rear extension over a small section of proposed ground floor extension. The topography of the site means that the rear garden slopes dramatically away. The raised deck is already in situ. The proposed rear extension will extend far beyond the footprint of the decked area. Number 13 has a flat roofed rear extension, but proposed to extend far beyond the rear building line of this. The first floor extension is stepped in and is almost centrally located at the rear. There's no increase in bedrooms, thus an increase in size and an additional bathroom. The frontage is not changing in design and style, remaining in keeping with the specific character of this street scene. As there are no objections, subject to no loss of immunity to neighbouring properties, price the ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and 72 of the district plan affairs. Yes, you can see in your pictures that the garden slopes quite dramatically down. And this picture also shows the neighbour to the right has got a flat roof rear extension already there. And yeah, this is the rear. And then this is the proposal. So although the footprint looks to be quite massive, yeah, a lot of it is ground floor.
Yeah.
That's cool.
And number 13 and number 9, is it number 9?
Yeah,
Yeah, 13 and number 9 are objected on.
no,
Well, they've come out a similar level, haven't they, on the first floor level?
they have, yeah.
Yeah.
Happy with that? Five 2023 2466 and 2471 don't meet the criteria. Then we'll go to 5 2023 2452 56 Eastmore Park. please.
Proposal is for a wraparound extension to two-storey level to the side of number 54 Eastmore Park, with a section first floor level removed to reduce any impact on number 58. There is currently conservatory to the rear. The neighbouring properties have both extended to the first floor level at the rear, therefore reducing the impact on them from these proposals. A number of other properties in the street have had similar works carried out. The garage is retained with off-street parking for at least 2 cars. Not conservation area and no tree works are proposed. There is a letter of support online from number 54 Eastmore Park saying that they believe that the extensions will be an improvement to the property. And the consideration is no objection subject to no loss of amenity to the neighbouring properties. Policy ESD2 of the neighbourhood plan and 72 of the district plan. Yeah, I think you can see in your what they're looking to do.
That's better.
Happy with that?
Yeah.
Similar to the house next door, isn't it?
Everybody happy with it?
Okay.
So we have an appeal decision. Note.
Interesting.
Toppingwood House Park is moving. Do you remember that one?
No, I don't, I must admit.
It's before our time.
Back in March.
And then, it works, and 18. The decisions. That's it.
Love it.
Lovely.
By the way, I did do a COVID test yesterday. Just in case.
Oh, right.
Okay, so the next meeting's on the 30th of January. Meeting closed at 8:28.
So I just wanted to ask about the,
Just a second.
yes. Just to make sure that we're all